Fantasy Joe back here with my week 3 running back rankings. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I drop waiver wires, rankings, buy lows, sell highs. Going to be dropping rest of season rankings soon, so stay tuned. Like and comment really helps out the video. I respond to all comments as well. All right, let's hop into these rankings. So at number 1, I've got Christian McCaffrey. Sure, he's underwhelmed. This isn't the best matchup for him on the ground, but I'm hoping that makes them utilize him through the air more, which is where he really gets so much of his value for fantasy football. Jonathan Taylor, who I was thinking about putting at 1, obviously hasn't been super successful this year either, but I think they will reestablish their run game, try to slow down Patrick Mahomes in that offense by keeping them off the field and using Jonathan Taylor a lot. 3, Derrick Henry against Vegas, great matchup for him. I think he's going to get going. Dalvin Cook against Detroit. Speaking of great matchups, this one's awesome. And Dalvin Cook is still getting a wide workload in games where they're not trailing by a ton. Joe Mixon, we just saw it, Nick Chubb to the Jets. He is definitely the lead back there on a great offense. 6, Austin Eckler against Jacksonville. Another guy who is slightly disappointed, but I think will get going this week. 7, Leonard Fournette against Green Bay. We saw what David Montgomery did to them. I expect a heavy dose of Leonard Fournette in this game with their receiving core banged up and Mike Evans suspended. 8, DeAndre Swift against Minnesota. He's looked excellent this year. Minnesota's a good matchup. 9, Saquon. Dallas might not be the best matchup, but he's getting a huge workload, and he looks similar to his old self, at least in week 1, and I think that trend will continue. I'm not too worried about that week 2 game. 10, Alvin Kamara against Carolina. Tough matchup on the ground somewhat, but I still like Alvin Kamara in that game. 11, Nick Chubb against Pittsburgh. We saw what he did the other day. One of the best runners in football, and I'm not scared from Pittsburgh's run defense. 12, Najee Harris against Cleveland in the same matchup. Najee, I think is a little bit banged up, but I still think he's a top 12 RB. 13, James Conner. This one's one to monitor. He might not play, but I think he's going to, and if he does, I'm playing him against the Rams with his touchdown upside. 14, Javonte Williams against San Francisco. I think he's going to get it right. I think they're going to start running the ball a little bit more until his offense gets right. At least that's what I would do. And that San Francisco matchup is tough, but Javonte's looked awesome on the ground this year. 15, James Robinson against the Chargers. He's looked amazing this year. I think you're playing him each and every week moving forward. Really excited about him this season. 16, Aaron Jones absolutely dominated the Chicago Bears, but goes up against a tough matchup against Tampa Bay, but he's still a top 16 running back for me. 17, David Montgomery against Houston. Great matchup for him, and he is getting a good workload on the ground because the Bears can only run the ball right now. 18, Ezekiel Elliott against the Giants. This is one of the games where I think you can play Zeke while Dak is out and get some solid production from him. He's getting a good amount of carries each and every week. We just need him to punch in a touchdown and catch a few passes, and he'll have a really solid week for fantasy football. 19, Antonio Gibson against Philly. Good matchup. I think Gibson can get it going. I mean, he's being utilized, and the only thing I'm worried about is if they're trailing by a bunch. We could see a lot of J.D. McKissick in this game, but Antonio Gibson, I think, has the touchdown upside on this team. 20, Jeff Wilson Jr. I think he will be the guy this week with Tyron Davis-Price going out. 21, Damian Harris against Baltimore. Looked like the lead back last week. Not scared of by Baltimore's defense. 22, Clyde Edwards-Helaire against Indy. The only reason I have him farther down this, I think Darius Leonard, or Shaq Leonard as he likes to be called now, and their defensive tackle, DeForest Buckner, will probably be back this week. I think that defense will start to look a little different. 23, Kareem Hunt against Pittsburgh. I like that matchup. Kareem Hunt is a tough guy to rank every week. I feel like he should be higher, but it's tough to rank him ahead of some of these guys. 24, Miles Sanders against Washington. He's still in a committee, but he looks good, and he looks like the lead guy. 25, Josh Jacobs. A good matchup for him against Tennessee, and I think he has the most touchdown upside in that team. I think that game's going to be a real toss-up. 26, Tony Pollard against the Giants. He's looked great this year, and he's going to continue to be utilized. Even if it's not as much as Zeke, he doesn't need as much workload to be good for fantasy football. 27, A.J. Dillon, probably ranked higher, just like I said, tough matchup on the ground against Tampa Bay for them. 28, Breece Hall against Cincinnati. Looked great in week 1. I think he's just going to get a bigger and bigger chunk of that workload. I'm excited about him moving forward. 29, Dameon Pierce against Chicago. Good matchup for him. We saw what Aaron Jones did to them. And this game, who knows who could win this one. So they could potentially have a lead in the fourth quarter. 30, Cam Akers against Arizona. Received a lot more workload last week. Out-touched Darrell Henderson. I still think Darrell Henderson is going to be involved. I think they both will. But I think he's got good touchdown upside in this game. Especially I think they'll try to get him a touchdown in this one. 31, Devin Singletary against Miami. He's a lead back for a great Buffalo Bills offense. Even if he doesn't get all the work, I think he has a good touchdown upside. And if they run the ball out, I think he is the guy that will probably get the work as long as they're not blowing the team out by a ton. 32, Darrell Henderson, like I said, I think he'll continue to be involved. 33, Michael Carter against Cincinnati. He's looked good. He's looked like the lead back. I do think Breece Hall gets a bigger and bigger chunk, and he's who I'd rather play at this point. But I still think you can play Michael Carter in a flex consideration or RB2 in a weak team or a big roster of 14, 16 team leagues. 34, Jamal Williams against Minnesota. Williams is involved. Good matchup for them on the ground against Minnesota. Melvin Gordon against San Francisco. I do think Javonte is the back I want to play, and this is a tough matchup, but I do think you can play Melvin Gordon, especially Javonte. Had a few drop passes last week, so potentially Melvin Gordon bites off a bigger chunk of the passing game. That'll be something to monitor. 36, Chase Edmonds. I'm still ranking ahead of Raheem Mostert for now. I do think they'll be trailing in this game, and he could catch some passes, but who knows, honestly. That's just a situation to monitor between him and Raheem Mostert. 37, Travis Etienne. I think he's talented, but obviously James Robinson, they've chosen to be the lead back. You got to expect him to do a lot with a little right now, the way they're utilizing him. 38, Ramondre Stevenson. I do believe in the talent. I think they could be down in this game, so I put him up there as a passing down back with Ty Montgomery and IR. 39, J.D. McKissic, another team I think could be losing, the Washington Commanders, the Commies versus Philly. He could be receiving a lot of checkdowns. And 40, Rex Burkhead. I think he will be utilized in this game somewhat against Chicago. In the event that they do lose, I think he could catch a few more passes, although I honestly might probably pick Houston in that game. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you need to start sit questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll help you guys out as always. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.